Hi everybody and welcome to this week's edition of Property Chat with James Alexander with Ken and James Hume. 2018, this is our first video and difficult subject this week. We're talking house prices. What will they do in 2018? Stand by.
Welcome back. Yeah, this week we're going to be talking about the predictions of a couple of other big agencies and also what we think for the next year. Couple of big kind of changes obviously throughout Brexit. There's a few changes in terms of the latest new government incentive for first-time buyers, wiping out stamp duty for first-time buyers altogether.
Definitely.
Between 300 and 500, or up to 300, and between 300 and 500 there's a change too. This year we're kind of optimistic. What are your kind of latest predictions in the property market for 2018?
Yeah, well, just running through what others are saying first of all. First of all, let's look at 2017. We ended the year overall in the UK at 2.6% house price inflation. That's across the whole of the UK. Now, if we look at various regions, what you'll probably find is, well, what you'll definitely find, in fact, is that central London struggled. And that struggled on the back of huge increase in stamp duty costs that were brought in the previous year. And that was to be expected on top of the new regime for second-time buyers, the extra stamp duty and the like. So house prices in central London fell by 0.5%, and then if you look at the regions going out to some of the northern cities, there were some rather large jumps, whereas here in the suburbs what we saw was a more subdued but solid growth. And I think this will bring confidence in 2018. So what we see happening in the next year is now first-time buyers have been told by the government, if you think about it, look, we have confidence that you can move forward now. We're saying to you, here's an incentive for you to jump onto the property market. And I think they can have confidence in the fact that prices didn't fall last year. Now we've got an incentive for first-time buyers. I think that will bring a lot of confidence to those buyers. And also, most importantly, cash in their pocket. Because when you're a first-time buyer, you're the only one in the chain who actually needs to find the cash. Right, James? I mean, everybody else has got to find it from mostly their equity in their property. But the first-time buyers have to save it up. So by taking away that first few thousand, then this is real cash that people won't have to find, and hopefully that's going to help to drive the market forward.
Yeah, I think we're quite optimistic about that. As you said, it's an incentive which actually can give cash to the first-time buyer, which a lot actually don't, basically. They don't give you that actual extra amount of money that you're going to have towards a purchase. So we feel that that's hopefully going to make a good difference to the market.
Yeah.
I mean, what we've seen is Rightmove have predicted a 1% increase across the UK.
Yeah, I think that's pessimistic. I think that's too low. I mean, in the end, I don't think it's in anyone's interest for house price inflation to be rampant. But I think a little bit of inflation in house prices brings confidence to the market, and the moves and all the services that go with that help the UK economy. I suspect that it's going to go up slightly more than that on the basis of the fact that these first-time buyers coming in will have a renewed vigour to come into the marketplace now. And then what will happen is we'll see the market, particularly in the ranges of 300,000 to 400,000, start to rise. And as they start to rise, those sellers in the middle market will gain confidence from that and see that perhaps their house price is a little higher than they expected. And that will drive those to put their houses on the market. Now, why I think this is interesting is because it will allow those second-timers to have that confidence to then move up. So I suspect that we'll also see an increase in volume from last year.
Yeah, I think that's right, to be honest. I think that's probably a fair assumption that once the kind of first moves do start to move out, basically, we'll get that kind of middle part of the market. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what are your predictions for the next year, percentage-wise, across the UK?
Yeah, so we see across the UK house price rises of 3%. That's more optimistic than most of our competitors. We'll see how that compares at the end of the year. We were one of the only ones to be suggesting that stamp duty should be removed for first-time buyers not long ago, and that's happened. So hopefully this prediction can be bang on as well. But you know what they say, only a fool will predict things short-term. So by no means can we be guaranteeing any accuracy in these numbers. But our gut feeling is that the market's going to be a lot stronger than people predict.
Yeah, I mean, we're hopeful of that as well. I mean, the actual kind of YouGov poll recently has found that 41% of respondents say they believe prices will rise in 2018, in contrast to just 14% who think they're going to fall.
Yeah, and that underlines the confidence in the UK market, doesn't it? Most people are aware that prices aren't going to fall off a cliff anymore.
I think after last year we saw a lot of people thinking that the property market was going to fall off a cliff and it was going to be a disaster. And I think this year, seeing that it's actually increased still that across the kind of the whole UK, and that kind of probably backs up the fact that property prices won't always fall off a cliff.
Yeah, even central London.
People might think.
Yeah, even central London, it's fallen slightly. You know, and although some are suggesting that particularly central London will be the recipient of another drop this year, that remains to be seen. But I think, you know, as we've discussed before, the needs must areas where people have a child and need a second bedroom, and those first-time buyers looking to invest in UK property. Because let's face it, if you don't buy, what are you going to do? You're going to rent. Well, there's a cost attached to that as well. You know, and there's no security, more importantly. So I think, you know, the idea that house buying has gone out of fashion is quite misplaced. And, you know, there's still the old saying, an Englishman's home is his castle, is very much there, alive and kicking. And first-time buyers will be buying in 2018, and the market will be more resilient than most expect.
So just a bit of nice news to end off. I know you saw this story in the
yes, Sandbanks
recently, yeah.
So, Sandbanks in Dorset, Storm Eleanor, with strong winds pulling down a 50-foot conifer. This had an unusual effect on house prices in the region. And the loss of the tree means homes already worth 1.6 million each now have unobstructed views across Poole Harbour and will now be valued higher. Adrian Dunford of TaylorMade commented, even if we say conservatively they'll go up by £250,000 per house, which is quite likely now they've got unobstructed views. That's £1 million tree that's fallen down. So we thought you'd enjoy that one. So thanks very much for watching and for all your support and subscriptions. Please do hit the subscribe button for much more in the way of property news throughout 2018.